Hello there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Doug and I'm here again with another pen unboxing. It's mail day and it's interesting that everything sort of piles up after a holiday or a long weekend. But that's what's happened here. I was waiting for a number of things that were supposed to be here days ago, but because of holidays and so forth, they all piled up and arrived on the same day. One of the three things that arrived today is a small package of a couple of, let's see if I can zoom in on this. A couple of nibs. These are from Bobby on eBay, and they are Shuiyao bent nibs. They're very, very similar to the PenBBS Fine Mini Fude bent nib. I got a couple of those, and I'm going to do some nib swaps with a couple of different pens. And then I got this really interesting pen clip that I'll open up and take a look at, but it should clip right onto a journal. We'll see how many pens are actually able to fit in there. I mean, one at a time, but what size pens can fit in there. I might do that as a separate video. Also, I had this made for me by my son. This is a, what do you call it, ink miser that I got the design on Thingiverse and had him print it for me. So I haven't had a chance to use that yet. So I got those three things. I might also throw in a video on this little pen pouch that I quite like as well, and do an accessories video. But the main thing that happened today was that I received this package, very familiar package, Etsy, PenBBS, and this is a clear PenBBS 323. Now, I already have one PenBBS 323, and there it is. And you can see I did a previous video on putting that little snake ring on there. And this is a black tortoise, and I really, really love this pen. But what happened was, a little backstory here, my PenBBS 456 broke. I dropped it, and it broke right there near the threads. So I asked Benny, maybe someone could tell me how to pronounce her name, on the Etsy PenBBS store, she operates the store, if I could buy just the barrel of this pen. And she said yes, and she would include it with no extra cost for shipping on another order. So I ordered the clear version of the PenBBS 323, and she included a barrel for my 456. So that's what I'm unboxing today. So without further ado, let's open it up. And as always, we'll speed it up for you viewers at home. Here we go. And let's see what's inside. Typical packing. I'll dig through here. And there's a pen. There it is there. Put that aside. And I do have a cat sticker. There we are. And that looks like Nyango. And I'm hoping the body is in here. Yep, and so it is. Had to dig a little bit, but there it is. the new body for my 456. So I'm going to do a separate video on the disassembly, cleaning, and replacing of that barrel for my 456. So I'll put that aside, and we will focus on our PenBBS box, the 323. And it says 323 16SF, which is fine point, silver finish, and 16 is the code for the clear. Typical sleeve, typical PenBBS box. I really like these boxes. They make, I keep them all, and they make nice gifts when you're going to give away a pen. It doesn't have to be a PenBBS. I don't give any of my PenBBSs away. And here we have the pen. So as you can see, it is totally clear version of the 323. It is a cartridge converter. But because it has a little rubber O-ring there, you can take that converter off and careful not to cross thread. There we go. Eyedropper that pen, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I also have a silver version of this snake ring coming in the next day or two, which I'm going to add to that as a roll stop. So, because I've already done a video on the 323, I thought I'd do a comparison of these two and fill it up and do a writing sample and so forth. But I'm going to do a little bit of a in praise of, because I've written with this pen for at least more than a month, I think, and I'm writing with it a lot. And I'm finding that the pen shape, the way it feels in the hand, the way it writes, is really quite a sublime experience. It is close to being the perfect pen in the hand. And I'm going to look at what all those features are on both of these pens and sort of look at what PenBBS might want to do to improve on this design to make it the perfect fountain pen. So join with me as I do a video on in praise of the PenBBS 323. Back at you. Okay, here we are back again. I've decided to call this video in praise of the PenBBS 323 because this is my second 323. I've been writing with the Black Tortoise, which I did a review of earlier this month, for about a month or so, and I'm writing with it almost every day. And it's such a fabulous pen that, of course, I bought another. But I thought instead of doing a typical evaluation, I will do a writing sample at the end of this video, and I will do my ode to the 323 in praise of it, and talk a little bit about some of the things that I love about this pen, and a couple of things that I think would make it perfect. But first, let's take a look at this new clear one that I've just received today. I've taken it apart and cleaned it out, but let's look at it here with a view to what its shape and size and features are. Of course, you can refer to the video that I did on the Black Tortoise one, and this is exactly the same, except now we can see it. I think this is going to be lovely with ink in it. So transparent completely. I've taken the converter out of it. Of course, it does come with a converter. If you're into changing your inks quite often, then this would be better. But the whole idea of having all this black inside this clear demonstrator instead of ink sort of rubs me the wrong way. I think this will be a much more beautiful pen when it's eyedroppered. And of course, it takes a ton of ink. The shape is unique. Yes, there are fountain pens that you can find that have this type of shape. They are generally custom kinds of pens, but I don't think you'll ever find anything like this at this price point. This pen, I can't emphasize this enough, this pen was $13.99 or $13.98 or something like that. And the acrylic on it is terrific. It's very, very clear. There's that little point at the end, beautifully machined. And you can see the nib straight through. The section gets a little bit frosted, but you can see where on the inside of the cap there's that point where the section touches that little step that's machined inside the cap. That seals off the nib. I've not had any problems with the black one drying out. In fact, it's one of the wettest pens that I own. So the cap tapers slightly towards the end and then up towards the body where it tapers down slightly. And then we meet the body of the pen, the barrel, and it's a bulbous shape here. It goes from low to higher and then swoops down here to the tail, which flares out. And then there's another nice chunk of acrylic right there. That's just gorgeous. It takes 1, 2, about 2 turns to get the cap off. One of the things about this pen, which might be a non-starter for some of you, is that it does not post. It's not designed to post, not even close. And it reveals the number 6 fine PenBBS Mini Fude nib. And I cannot say enough about these nibs. The one that's in this one is one of the smoothest writing, as I mentioned earlier, sublime experiences of writing I've ever had. And that's why I keep going back to that pen. There's only one other that rivals this one, and that's in my 480 Galaxy. I have a couple of more of the fines in my 355 and my 456, and they are very good, very, very good. Not as excellent as the Black Tortoise and my 480, but beautiful nibs. Now, they are fine, but they write a line which is between fine and medium, which is perfect for me. And that little upturn does some magic things on the page. This one is all chrome. There are PenBBS fine nibs like this that are a combination of gold and chrome. And of course, here's this section which is very, very similar to the 480. It's concave and it flares out towards the end here. And this is where that section is so perfect for my hand. It may not be perfect for yours, but this is the perfect size and shape section for me. Those threads you don't feel at all, but the bulb of this body of the pen sort of hugs your thumb and the underside of your index finger, and then it curves down and just lays in the crook of your hand just perfectly, and then it's the perfect length out the back, so that it sits in your hand like it's hardly even there, but with enough weight towards the nib to make it very, very comfortable. I've written for an hour and a half with this pen without having any hand fatigue at all. And there's not many other pens that I can say do that. Let's take this section off. And there is that O-ring right there that separates the body from the section. And you can eyedropper that full of ink. I'm going to silicone grease that anyway. But this pen was designed to eyedropper. The other feature of it, of course, is it's clipless. Now, I've seen some photographs online where people have bought a clip designed for another pen, like a Keiko or something like that. Kaweco, I think how you pronounce it. A clip that goes on there, but it's very long. So even with a clip on it, putting it in a shirt pocket, it's going to sit up above that clip unless the clip comes all the way down to here. What I did, of course, is I put this snake ring on my black one, and I have a silver snake ring on the way to go on this one to act as a roll stop, just to keep it from rolling off your desk. Of course, when I write with this pen, I tend to stand my cap up on the desk and then write with it like this. So let's just take a moment here, and I will repeat the weights and measures of the PenBBS 323, and we'll come back and ink this pen up. I've decided, I was thinking of putting maybe a Yamabudo, kind of a magenta reddish color in here, or a green or something that we really show off, or even that brown shimmering ink I got, the Caroube de Chypre from Gerban. But I'm thinking, I've had this pen out, I've rubbed it on paper, it's really smooth without any ink at all. So I'm thinking that I might be writing with this every day. So I need an everyday kind of ink. And I'm going to put a Roshizuku Asagao, which is a beautiful, bright, brilliant blue, which I think will look beautiful in this pen. So it does not come with an eyedropper, and I have a couple of eyedroppers, but this is my tool of choice, my blunt end syringe. So I'm going to give this a try on camera. So I'm going to fill it up with water first before I ink this up, and then measure that amount. And then we'll ink this up. So we'll cut here. Okay, back again. I've filled this up with water, and then I extracted it again. It's one of the reasons we do it with water, because you have to push, just like you're giving someone a shot, push all the air out, and of course it ejects water. Don't want that to be ink. And all the markings have come off my little syringe, so I actually marked it with milliliter markings here etched into the surface. So that's 1, 2, 3.5 milliliters of ink. That's a lot of ink. So I'm going to eject this water, and then we'll give the ink a try. Now remember, I'm doing this around the camera. So I'm going to suck up what I think is enough ink. 1, 2, 3. There's 4. A lot of ink. And we're going to, of course, you make a mistake right away. It's very difficult to judge distance over a camera. Get that. There we go. And I'm only going to fill it up to that top thread. There. Just going to get the ink off of the threads. And I spilled a little bit. None on the outside. Good. Then, before we put that together, we're going to silicone grease these threads here. And so we need to hold this up from spilling. Get out our silicone grease. I have 2 lifetime supply of silicone grease. There's just 1 of 3 bottles that I've got. And 1 will last me forever, I'm sure. And just a little dab will do ya. And spread that around. And then we put this section back in. That's a beautiful blue. Now we have to wait for the ink to travel down through here, through into the feed. This is that 3D printed ink miser I got from my son, but I'm going to use it to help drain the ink down into the feed of this pen. And I'm not going to make you wait. We'll cut right to it. Okay, I'm back with the PenBBS 323. The ink has gone into the feed, saturated the feed. And you see we're getting a little bit of condensation in there because of the lights. But let's do a writing sample of this pen. This is the PenBBS 323. It is the clear model, which is 16 SF. Fine point. The ink is Iroshizuku. Asagao. It's very wet for a PenBBS. And I could probably open that up a little bit. I haven't touched the nib at all, but right off the bat, this is as smooth or smoother than the Black Tortoise. Let's listen to this here. That's just like ice on glass. That's totally amazing. Very, very smooth. Let's see how it handles reverse. Yeah, it does it, but it's a little bit scratchy there. I don't tend to do that, but if you want a really fine line, you can reverse right with it. That's just no pressure whatsoever. Again, it feels like a fine to medium nib. If you push it a little bit, yeah, it's really stiff. Again, these mini Fude nibs don't give at all. There's no real bounce to them at all. How about some fast writing here? That skip was just me missing the page. This is keeping up beautifully. And I just love the look of this. Instead of doing my evaluation, because I've done an evaluation on this already, and I'll probably go back and post up what my score was for the Black Tortoise. This would get exactly the same score, I would guess. I think I gave it dings for not posting and for not having a clip. But let me speak in praise of this pen. When you hold it in your hand, it feels just natural. That little bulb in there, as I mentioned before, feels beautiful in the hand. You can grip this almost anywhere, and it's comfortable. There's almost no place on the pen that isn't comfortable to write with. And I think this would be the perfect fountain pen if PenBBS did two things. One, let's have a model that has a clip that is similar to the 480 that comes out of the body here, and it could be used as both a roll stop and as a clip to go into a shirt pocket. It might not go into a shirt pocket, it might go into a jacket pocket, certainly, because it is very deep. But that would be nice. Or sell it with an accessory pen clip, like this one. Because you can see what happened to it just rolled right off my page, and I'm not even really slanted here. So that would be one step up towards a perfect pen. The other thing would be to find a way to make this post. And I think they'd be able to do it if you just changed the dimension of this so that it didn't flare out quite so much. Again, that flare doesn't really even enter into your holding the pen. It doesn't even touch your hand. So if this actually posted into about there, so about where that step is inside the body and that step is inside the cap, if it posted there, it would be about 145 millimeters long, which would be about this long, which isn't too long for a pen. And I think you would have the perfect fountain pen. Again, the other thing I'm going to say in praise of this pen over all the others that I've tried, and that is that, and I mentioned this right at the beginning, this is $13.99 US plus $6 shipping from Etsy. That's incredible. This is an extremely well-built, well-engineered, well-designed, beautiful fountain pen that takes a ton of ink and lays down a beautiful line that is smooth and wet and just a joy to write with for $13.99. Now, I've got a feeling I'm going to have a few more of these. I don't know how you can go wrong with this kind of pen. The other thing that you can do with this, because it's a number 6 and they come out so easily, you can replace that with any number 6 nib you want. You can put a Goulet nib in there. You can put, which is a Jovo nib. You can put a Bach nib in there. There's plenty of clearance inside that cap right there for another nib. And if you could put your own nib on this, maybe you like Schmidt's, maybe you like Bach nibs, maybe you like Jovos, maybe you want a stub in there. You could have one of these pens for every color you want and in every pen thickness, from extra fine through to stubs, through to italics, through to architect nibs, and just have a whole row of these on your desk to choose as you want and not spend a fortune. It certainly is a way to experiment with different nibs and see what you do like, because you're not going to break the bank. Again, the clear model, $13.99. The other resins and so forth go up in price, but not by that much. So the Galaxy version of this is $31.99, which is a beautiful blue resin. So I can't recommend this pen highly enough. If you haven't tried this shape of pen, it's not going to cost you a lot of money to give it a try. So again, thank you for allowing me to gush. Pardon the pun, gushing ink. But I appreciate your attention. And if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. And that's all she wrote.